sense of satisfaction that we could identify the deserving startups. And also, this is very important because on this occasion, we are joined by two highly acclaimed and most celebrated guests, Mr. Jeet Vijay, who is the CEO of Meaty Startup Hub, and Mr. Manish Maheshwari, who is the Managing Director of Twitter India. I welcome both of you, sir. I now would like to hand over this stage to the one who is the backbone of not only JIC, but the entire JECRC Foundation. A person who is passionate working for this startup ecosystem, a leader who shows the way and always stands by his team, a mentor, a guide, a role model. Everybody, please join hands together and welcome our director, Sir Shri Arpit Agrawal. Sir, the stage is all yours now.
Thank you, Komal. So thank you very much for your generosity in my introduction. But as I always say, I only accept it in all the protocols and all the humbleness. I know I don't deserve as much, but then I can assure you that I'll keep working hard to make sure that whatever you are talking about me makes sense someday. I can assure you that. So good afternoon, everyone. It is an absolute honor and a great pleasure to be part of this call today and to have you all amongst all of us. I extend a very warm welcome to everyone who is present on this call, especially our two distinguished guests today who have taken out their time to be with us. Mr. Jeet Vijay, he is the CEO of startup Meti Startup Hub, Government of India, and he is the man who is the latest success of JIC. A large part of credit goes to Mr. Jeet Vijay for the constant hand holding and the constant advice we have been receiving from him. Thank you, Mr. Vijay, for sparing your time to be amongst us today. Thank you very much. And next we have Mr. Manish Maheshwari. He is the managing director, Twitter India. Twitter India, I mean, Twitter is a household name nowadays. I mean, everybody knows what Twitter is. And with a lot of persuasion from Komal's side, Mr. Manish has agreed to be part on this call. Thank you very much, Mr. Manish. It is great pleasure to have you with us today. I also extend a very warm welcome to the entire leadership team who is present here. I can see our Honorable President, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Victor Gambhir, Principal JECRC, Dr. Vinay Channa, all the faculty leaders, the deans and directors, everybody who has joined this call. I also like to extend a very warm welcome to the JIC team comprising of Dhimant Agrawal, Komal Joshi, Dilnawaz, Tarun and Sachin. And all the students, the budding entrepreneurs who have joined this call today. And a special welcome to all we call them fabulous four, I mean, the startup winners who have joined this call. Thank you very much, everyone, for sparing their time to be with us today. So friends at JECRC, or for that matter, any academic institution, pedagogy is really, really important. But at JECRC, what we have realized, not of late, but then for a few years now, that apart from the fantastic pedagogy, the fantastic lecture which we deliver in the campus, it is equally important to have beyond the classroom exposure for all these students. So JECRC has picked up few focus areas in last say in 10 or 12 years, which revolves around research, innovation, student development, training and placement, societal issues, and all that stuff. And by God's grace, by the hard work of faculty members and the teams, everything worked out very well. But last 3 years, when we have academic board which sits every year and there are senior people, they have given us a mandate that now one of the focus areas for JECRC campuses should be entrepreneurship. So this was given to us in the year 2018, and we immediately grabbed it because the kind of environment in the country from last 4 or 5 years, entrepreneurship is the way forward. That's what we all believe. So after years deliberation, thoughtful deliberation in 2018, 2019 is the year when we have launched the JECRC incubation cell. So it is just at a nascent stage. We all are learning. We know that we are novice, but what we are very sure about ourselves is that no, we are committed to the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the system or in our campuses. So just in last 2 years, things have started working out very well. We have a formidable team, which we call a core team. There are faculty members who are helping us out. And then we established an advisory board for JECRC incubation cell, where there are 13 members who are part of the advisory board, and they come from different walks of life, from corporates or from government, startup founders, startup owners, innovators, etc. And they have been advising us that how do we take things forward. And with the result of last 18, 19 months or 24 months, we have produced 16 startups from our own campuses. I mean, to me, that number doesn't look that impressive, but then what has happened in the campus is that there's a fantastic ecosystem which is around. So maybe if I look forward for next 2 years, I'm very sure we would be able to produce double the numbers in next 2 years. And I wanted to believe that 15, 20 startups in a year from an academic institution is a good idea. That's where we are working towards. And we have established a fantastic sorry, incubation facility in the campus, which is a 50-seater incubation facility. I mean, I how much I would wish that we didn't have this pandemic, and we would have loved to host you, all of you, on that campus and show you around that fantastic facility, which has been, which we have just created. We are not put that facility to use. It was scheduled in the month of January, but then let's say maybe another 2-3 months, when the things would settle down, we would love to host you on that facility and show you around the campus. So 16 startups came out from the campus from our own efforts, and alongside those 16 startups, I'm very, very proud to share that not with our help, but then JECRC is a fantastic office around alumni. There are 6-7 dedicated members who look after alumni relations. And then obviously with the 16, 17 batches graduated from our campus, 15,000 alumni is what, the strong alumni base that we have. And then they are in 35 different countries. We have different chapters. We kept on talking to them. And then 150 startups, alumni startups, is what, we are very, very proud of. As it is, the institution did not contribute in their growth for them to become a successful startup. But then, since they're all our own students, they graduated from our own campuses, so we own them as well. And they couple of those startup owners are also on our advisory board. They keep talking to us. They keep telling us that how things should work. And I don't know how much time I have, but then couple of more points, if I may allow to, just add here. So what we realized in last 2 years of our experience working as an incubation center. So last decade, prior to these 2 years, were commercial incubation center, where there was someone who would put together a facility. They would charge for it. The budding entrepreneurs would go there, seek their advice, pay them the money, and then come back and use their facility. I strongly believe now for next 10 years, the time is with the academic incubators. I mean, almost all the forward-looking institutions in the country now has their own startup ecosystem, their own incubation entrepreneurship cells. So the rationale here is that if we could catch them young, I mean, at JECRC, as I mentioned, that we have 20 years legacy vintage, and the most important ingredient is the youth. And we have 10,000 students currently enrolled in our different schools and different programs in both the campuses. So we understand that out of those 10,000, if we can tap maybe 0.5% of them, if we can put to them in that route that they should pick up entrepreneurship as a career, I think we'll be successful. So I mean, next 10 years, I strongly believe as an individual that the time for the entrepreneurship is academic incubators. The incubators which are in the campus would definitely take the plunge and give the most numbers in terms of the successful startups coming out. Another point which I wanted to make is, I'm sure Mr. Manish would resonate with me more. As a as a Jaipurite, as a resident of Rajasthan, I strongly believe that Rajasthan deserves more when it comes to entrepreneurial ecosystem, because this is in their blood. This is there from last 200-300 years. A lot of our people, they made their mark across the globe, in the country. But then when we rank Rajasthan in terms of the startup ecosystem, the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the country, we feel bad that we are rated at you know at a lower pedestal. So I would rather the GIC team or the JECRC leadership team, we are all working very hard in order to make sure that if not on the top position, but Rajasthan should be amongst the top 5 states in the country where most number of startups are being produced. I mean, we might not have that kind of industrialization, we might not have that kind of corporates, for our startups to talk to. But then now, because of the technology, things can be worked out very well. So this is part of our, I don't call it a vision, but this is part of our aspiration. And ever since we have this JIC established, good things started happening with JIC. And the most important thing which happened with JIC, ever since we get this MITI G2C center, which is only 20 in the country and only in the Rajasthan, Ajit, we didn't look back. Trust me, this has given us the vehicle which we were looking at, and then the kind of programs which we have coordinated along with MITI has given us the requisite recognition. Because as an individual institution we can work hard, but then if the government comes along with you, it is easier to convince people and reach out to them. So with this MITI startup grant, for the specific event which we are sitting together today, I might like to allow me another last 1.5-2 minutes to tell you that how it all worked. Like Komal mentioned, it was a journey started 100 days back, and then the first call was out, and we thought that if we have 250 applications, it will be a good idea, because all the applications were invited who were at revenue stage. At the level of idea, we were not inviting application, though people still apply for it, but we did not count them in that 400. So we had 400 quality applications, and then we realized that this is a tough job. I mean, 400 quality applications at a revenue stage coming from 16 states of the country. So what we did is, we at our internal level with the faculty experts and our own experts, we could only eliminate 150 of them, because we would want to eliminate more, but then we could only eliminate 150. All the applications were really, really quality applications. For 250, then we decided to put together a fantastic panel of jury. Like Komal mentioned, there are 40, whom we bring on a single technology platform. Those 40, I mean, all the 250 applicants were given a chance to pitch their idea amongst the jury panel. That's a huge effort, but we did it because we wanted to make sure that we should not do injustice to anyone. So all those 200 pitched their ideas. It was a good 6-7 days effort. And again, out of that effort, we have shortlisted 30 applications. And then another jury call was put. And then that jury call again, consists of the startup founders, the startup owners, the innovators, people coming from industry, from government side, and different walks of life. They have then given us 4 applications, the fabulous 4, which we are calling. So the idea today is to felicitate them and to understand from their perspective that how do they think that how the entrepreneurial ecosystem is going in this country, and if they have any ideas to suggest to us, to Mr. Jeet Vijay, to Mr. Maheshwari, or to the leadership team, that as a young entrepreneur, this is what they think. And then since there are policymakers sitting on that call, we might listen to them very carefully and learn from their experiences, because they are the end users. So guys, this is it from my side. I once again welcome everybody who is part of this call. I mean, I know these are difficult times we are living through. I mean, this pandemic has really disrupted the whole, I mean, the lives, and this is not that we keep listening about it. Now we are experiences, on day-to-day basis at our houses. So I would only hope and pray that all of you are safe. Please keep abundant precautions and keep this monster away from all of you. So now I'd like to hand over to Dhimant Agrawal, our youngest team member. So just what in 30 seconds, if I may introduce him. So Dhimant is just only 23 years of age now, and he is taking care of JECRC's is a director for digital strategies. I mean, whatever footprint you could see on social media, on internet, on digital platforms, this is his contribution. Is from last 1 year he is working with JECRC. And another introduction for him, which is more relevant today, is that he's the CEO for the Type 2 Center for JECRC. And whatever events and activities we are conducting around Type 2 Center, he's the man who has, or rather the boy who has conceptualized and envisioned everything. So the man, now I would request you to please formally introduce both our guests. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Hello and good evening, everybody. It is my proud privilege to welcome you all to the valedictory ceremony of Type 2.0 grant. And I think this is a huge responsibility bestowed upon me to introduce the chief guest for today, Mr. Jeet Vijay and Mr. Manish Maheshwari. I say this is a difficult responsibility because these two profiles carry a lot of weight. So I'll try my best. But before I jump on to the introduction, I would like to take this quick opportunity. And I say this because I might not get that opportunity later on today to thank my uncle and our director, Agarwal. He is the one who introduced all of us to the world of incubation and Type 2.0. And it was his vision. And back in the day where in Jaipur, there did not exist a lot of incubation centers, and especially the space of academic incubation centers was totally to Jaipur and Rajasthan. And 4 years back, it was his to establish one of the finest and world-class academic incubators in the state. So thank you for introducing us to this great world, and we all are really enjoying this journey. So coming to the chief guest for today, Mr. Jeet Vijay and Mr. Manish Maheshwari. Again, before I jump onto the introduction, I would just like to mention here that both these dignitaries belong from Jaipur. And that is another testimony of the fact that how much potential this place holds, this land holds. And I am now, after hearing this, I am all the more convinced that we are working in the right direction, working on the state of Rajasthan and the incubation space. Because if such dignitaries are at the helm and taking lead, in world-class corporation, this gives a lot of conviction. So we all are really happy and proud that, sir, both of you belong from Jaipur. So coming on to the formal introduction, Mr. Jeet Vijay, sir is the CEO of PT Startup Hub, a coveted branch of Ministry of Electronics and IT. Having a knack for management right from his education days, Mr. Vijay graduated from University of Texas, Austin. His majors being in the field of finance and marketing. His quest didn't stop there, and he later went on to pursue his master's in business administration from Rice University, US. His interest in the field of management also led him to explore the entrepreneur himself. And with the founder of Green Rock Inc., he began his entrepreneurial journey. After having a successful 6-year run in the mentioned capacity, he used his then acquired experience in the investment director for AAI Investments. Mr. Jeet Vijay also served different roles in different capacities, one of which being an assistant vice chancellor at the University of Texas System. And then for the board members of multiple companies for 7 long years. With over 17 years of experience in the field of private equity, venture capital, and strategic management, this US-India-based investor and advisor has been successful in creating significant values for the companies he has worked with. At present, Mr. Vijay stands as the CEO of MSH and is one of the force behind acceleration of creation and development of entrepreneurial system in the country. A master of all trades, having expertise in fields of fund management, valuations, portfolio management, sir is currently working on numerous initiatives of central government ministries in advisory capacity to support startup and MSME development. Sir is also on board recently the core team of National Startup Advisory Council, under which the government of India is planning to expand its wings of startup and entrepreneurship in the entire country. So, sir, we are really thankful to you, not just on behalf of the core team, not just on behalf of the incubation center, but the entire ecosystem of the entire startup ecosystem of the country. Because in a very less time, the significant contribution that you have had in the ecosystem, it's very much visible. And as I said, we all are very proud to have you as a leader, sir. Thank you for being here. Introducing the second guest for the ceremony, Mr. Manish Maheshwari. Ever since the foundation of Twitter, this microblogging platform, all of us have been a true fan of it. And I don't need to introduce to you all what exactly Twitter is. It's a household name. Our second guest for today is Mr. Manish Maheshwari, who is the MD of Twitter India, a platform which is helping the country fight its battle against the current pandemic. Previously CEO Network 18 Digital, Mr. Manish helped the audience to grow 105 million monthly active users with content in over 12 languages and diversified revenues encompassing advertising, subscription, branded content, and syndications. Key properties included First Post, News 18, CNBC TV 18, Cricket Next, and In.com. Prior to that, Sir headed Flipkart's merchant business and seller ecosystem and grew its marketplace 10x from 10,000 sellers in February 2015 to 100,000 sellers in February 2016. From 10,000 sellers in 2015 to 100,000 sellers in 2016 to create a significant lead as India's #1 digital commerce player. And I'm sure this has helped the local economy and ecosystem boom. So, sir, thank you for boosting the capabilities of our local ecosystem as well. Prior to Flipkart, Mr. Manish co-founded TextWeb in the Bay Area, California, and made it the world's largest marketplace for text-based apps. And before that, he was head of new market at Inuit, which is NASDAQ-listed world's largest provider of software products and payment services for SME and consumers with brands such as TurboTax, QuickBooks, Mint, and GoPayment. In the past, Sir has also worked at McKinsey in New York with Procter & Gamble in Philippines, China, and Singapore. Sir holds MBA with honors from Wharton Business School, where he served on the MBA admission committee, was elected co-president of the Asia Club and Shields Zedman Award, the highest award for entrepreneurship at Wharton. He also served as the economic development volunteer in East Timor under the Wharton International Volunteer Program. Sir, we are really blessed to have you in this ceremony and looking forward to hear your views on how exactly this microblogging platform is serving in the current pandemic, because we all know that to now become a platform of extending help and a platform to connect the patients and the philanthropists. So looking forward to your views and for your presence.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dimant. I think this is the most generous introduction I have heard so far. So thank you so much for being so nice and gracious.
So I think without taking much time, I would request Mr. Jeet Vijay to put forward his views. Sir, we all are really eager to hear from you.
Thank you, Devon. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing Manish speak, because I think he's a doer and we are talkers. So I'd rather hear him. So I'll try not to take too much time. But first of all, I want to say that we are living in really tough times. Oxygen crisis. We are talking about people dying from lack of oxygen. This is the state of the country that we are in right now. We have more than 370 people in this gathering. And my prayers and hopes are that everyone who's been affected heals and is taken care of, because there's nobody who has not been touched by this crisis. And so it's really hard to talk about innovation and startups when we are seeing what we are seeing on TV. This is a country at war. We are fighting a war that we don't even know how to deal with. So the moment right now is, it's really challenging to think of the consequences and how did we end up where we ended up today. And so putting that in the context, when Arpitji, I applaud you quite a lot, because I think you have done a fabulous job of taking a relatively obscure university or college to a level where you have really created as a nucleus of innovation in a you are like an oasis in the desert, literally. So you are watering the dreams and harvesting the hopes and giving the opportunity to the entrepreneurs. You said, academic institute, then you mentioned incubator, then you mentioned entrepreneur, but you are not an academic institute. You're not there to train the students for professional life. That's a historical context. You're not an incubator that's training some startups. You are a factory that's converting the intellect into innovation. We are a country, historically, we used to have the same Jai Kisan, Jai Jawan, right? That our soldiers are fighting in the front, our farmers are fighting the field to feed us. But Modi ji, our honorable Prime Minister, has a vision when he said Jai Kisan, Jai Jawan, Jai Vigyan. It is the science, it is the innovation, it is the third front of the war. It is the soldiers of the future that you're creating. When you say you have the 6 startups come out of a system, these are the 6 soldiers. These are the training that you're providing because these are the youth on whose intellect the future of the country will be built. So every single contribution that we make is we are making to build a nation. You are in a nation building business. And that's where I applaud you because I think as Demant has done a great job because entrepreneurs cannot succeed in silos. No one can succeed alone. And seeing the social media traction on all the things that you guys do, it boggles my mind that all the capabilities that you have and all the stakeholders you can engage and all the community that you can build around your startups is quite marvelous. Because unless, if a tree falls in the forest and no one heard it, did it really fall? Right? So you are creating that buzz, that momentum, a momentum that can build self-sustaining community of communities. An entrepreneur can get inspiration, can get support, can get leverage, can get opportunity from anywhere. And it's all about building that network effect. And I think you guys are doing a tremendous job. And it's great to see Demant and Komal leading on the ground at such a young age and really making an impact to bring and build an ecosystem around our startups that we have. Now, when we start thinking about it, so Ministry of Electronics and IT is heavily involved in all the elements of electronics and IT as it pertains to the country. So currently we are heavily involved in the digital oxygen tracking system. So we daily hear in the news, where's the oxygen? Where's the oxygen? So we are always working to figure out where's the surplus supply? Where are the deficit states? How do you optimize the supply chain? How do you bring traceability to the oxygen supply? Where are the trucks? Where's the trains? What is happening? How do we reduce the distance and the travel time? Because these oxygen tankers travel at less than 20 kilometers an hour speed. And so how do we reduce their blockage on the tollways? Because every moment lost is a life lost. So we at the ministry are working at the forefront and a lot of these things don't get shown out there. But there's so much happening to figure it out. Because again, this is a country that's trying to build something while it's going through it. So the reason I'm saying this in this context is that it's the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister when he launched the Startup India mission 5-6 years ago now. He realized that the youth of this country, we might be economically poor, but intellectually we are one of the richest country with a 1.3 billion population and 70% being younger than 35. The futures are to be had. We may not win the market share today, but we can win the opportunity share tomorrow based on the intellect we have and the opportunity we are providing. So what government can do is lay the framework, provide the support a little bit, but it is the incubators like yourselves. It is the delivery partners like yourself who can actually coalesce a community around these initiatives and provide the much needed support to the young budding minds and the hungry kids of our country who are busting at the seams to build something for themselves and for this country. So I greatly applaud you for that part. Now, under this Tide 2.0 scheme, I would like for our entrepreneurs who are here on the call to think that India is a land of opportunity today. From Shikshit Bharat, Sashakt Bharat, Surakshit Bharat, Swachh Bharat to Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? How do we build that Bharat which is self-sustained and self-efficacious in every way? Anywhere you look, there's an opportunity for improvement. There's an opportunity for enhancement. There's an opportunity for efficiency creation. There's an opportunity knocking at the doors. Now, how do we actually look at everything that is happening and say, okay, I'm not going to get dejected by what I see, but I'll take this as an opportunity to improve something. Is this the best we can do in the when our people are dying? How do we improve things? And this is where health tech, med tech, agri tech, any field you look at, there's an opportunity to be created something. Now, Tide 2.0 scheme is one of the initiatives of the Ministry of Electronics and IT, whereby we look to provide funding support to startups under different levels, ranging from a EIR grant, which is idea level for entrepreneur residents. Then we provide a little bit of funding for our product and prototype development, which we're discussing today. And when a startup is actually ready to scale, we provide up to 40 lakh in funding for scale. Now, that's just three of the things. Then we even do IP reimbursement. If someone is filing IP, we pay for it. Aside from this, we are launching an accelerator scheme to accelerate startups. And aside from that, we have EDF, Electronic Development Fund, which is a VC fund of fund. And we are also launching another fund called Digital Product Development Fund, which will be focused on developing digital technologies at scale. So we are not always reliant on the Western technologies, the software product space. So the Ministry of Electronics and IT in itself is doing quite a lot to provide funding and fill all the gaps in the value chain that exist in the ecosystem when it comes to the needs of the entrepreneur. And this is just one of the ministries. If you look at what Startup India did, where I'm honored to be part of the committee under Honorable Piyush Goyal sir, we are launching 1,000 crore seed fund for startups. Because government realizes the need that though we have the urgent need to support our MSMEs and our health infra, but we also have the need to support the opportunity for tomorrow by investing in the future through our kids and through the institutions that you're leading. So quite a lot of funding is coming from the government. And where I want to tell the startup is that today you are selected in this program. So this is not a win. This is the beginning of the journey. This is a validation of the idea you have, and it has been screened very strictly. You have been selected, so you should be proud of it. But now it is a responsibility that you have to take that and convert it into something that's societally benefit and economically viable, so that it can actually make an impact on not only in your lives, but in the lives of the country that we are living in. And once you scale this project, there's more funding available. So it's a carrot kind of approach. You know, you get a little bit as you move on. And when you enter the real world, that's what a VC will do with you, right? That they will want to see you, they'll give you funding in tranches, and they'll see where you end up with that. Milestones are the key to life. You got to set tight goals, tight deadlines, and outcome-focused results are what is needed. And if the idea is great, funds are always available. So my only request is that for our startups that, look, there's a plenty of opportunity. There's a plenty of funding. There is a ecosystem that is being built by institutions like JECRC and Arpit Agarwal sir, who's so actively involved in this, that anything that you can dream, you can actually do today in our country. We don't have to run to US to get access to the resources and exposure to the environment. This is what was lacking in India 20 years ago. Today, you can be an entrepreneur and be successful in India and still raise money in US. Everything world has become very dynamic and very fluid. So don't be constrained by the city you are in. Don't be constrained by the degrees you have. Don't be constrained by the limited confidence you may have. You are the builders of the nation, and anything is possible. It's only the visionaries who create the future. And I think our Honorable Prime Minister has done that when he started Startup India. It's Arpit ji who's doing it when he started this initiative to create Jaipur as a hub. And I know our chief ministers over there are doing as well. Everybody's involved in the ecosystem. Now it is the responsibility of the entrepreneurs who are on the call to take advantage of the resources that are available in the ecosystem and reach out for it, access it, demand it, want it. You have to fight for your right, and you have to build your own career and your own country. Because anybody, or soldiers on the front, farmers in the field, but any individual with an opportunity of success has a responsibility to succeed. If you're given the resources, you are lucky today. There are so many millions who don't have that opportunity. So if you are here today, you have the drive, you have the desire, you have the opportunity. So let these moments not be wasted, and let these opportunities not go by without learning. And let's remember that we are at a war, and this war can only be won if we think about the future. Today is what today is, but tomorrow will be built based on what we do today. So let's learn from this, and let's build on this, and let's appreciate the blessings that we have, that we are sitting here today and not suffering through a crisis where so many millions are doing right now. So let's keep them in our prayers, and let's hope that we can do something bigger and better and put India in its rightful place as we move forward. So I won't take any much more time than that. And I would really love to hear Mahesh's views, because I think he's an exciting guy and he can talk so much about the reality of the business and how to scale things. So he's a great entrepreneur and a great success. So thank you for the opportunity and really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words, kind and motivating words. And congratulations, sir, for being inducted on the Startup Advisory Council. We all, as partners and part of the ecosystem and tide centers, take a lot of pride in that, in the fact that you've been inducted on the board. And we are a very small team, sir, but a very enthusiastic one. And with your guiding light and your vision, we surely want to and hope to contribute more in any capacity we can. Thank you so much, sir. So coming to our next speaker, Mr. Manish, we all are aware that how Twitter has become one of the most powerful yet silent support of the pandemic, with it being the platform to facilitate and become the bridge between the patients and the philanthropists. So thank you so much, sir, for being here. We know how busy your schedule is. So without any further ado, I would like you to take the center stage and share your reviews on the entrepreneurial ecosystem of the country and the vision that you and Twitter has for this nation.
Thanks, Dimant. Thank you so much. And I was just listening to Jeet before this. So truly amazed by the work that Jeet and his team are doing at METI. And I think one thing that really struck me was he talked about digital oxygen tracking system and traceability. And I think clearly there is so much going on in the country. So I'm so grateful that there is so much effort happening from his team and the larger team. Plus many of the points he mentioned about, entrepreneurship and other things I wholly endorse. So with that, I just wanted to start by saying, Jaipur is my hometown and I wanted to be physically there, so I couldn't be there. So the least I could do is put a background that talks about Jaipur. And I think I also want to thank Komal. I mean, she reached out to me multiple times and I ignored her many times. But I think something clicked and I just said yes. And I think that's why I'm here. So I think perseverance pays. And I think you should never take no for an answer. And I think that's another lesson I would say. And I also want to thank Mr. Arpit Agarwal. I think doing something is very commendable. And it's not easy to do things for others and create a role model and take the effort and the pain to do all this, when we can always take the easy path of doing what is for our family and for ourselves and our own business and our city. But I think you're doing something bigger than that. And I always respect people who sort of take the path less traveled and do more things and do things for others. So that's quite inspirational in my mind. I think I'll talk about two things. One is about the current environment and I think what we are doing. And the second thing is about myself as my personal story, just so that, if there are other people like me, they can get inspired as well to some extent, whatever way I can inspire them. So just one caveat before I start. This is all in my personal capacity. So this is not my official statement as a Twitter MD. And I am from the media background. So I have to put that disclaimer because, things get reported everywhere. And I would request anyone to not take a screenshot. And I would request anyone to not quote me because it's a closed door session. So I'm hoping the Chatham rules will apply. And I think we'll just keep it, between ourselves and have an open discussion. So clearly, I think if I look at what's happening, I think it's a tough time for everyone. I think many of my friends, family members, relatives, anecdotally, I mean, I have personally known them, and I think they have been going through a tough time. And anecdotally, also, if I look at in a larger ecosystem, there's a lot of pain and sort of need for help that I have been witnessing over the last 14, almost now 20 days. The situation really is tough, and I am first of all hoping and praying that all of you are well, and I think your family members are well, and I think I just hope that everything stays well, and we are able to ride through this. I think it will probably take a few more weeks for this to peak, and then of course after that there would be some respite. So that's my wholehearted wish that all of you stay safe. Now, if I think about Twitter, right? I mean, Twitter. The purpose of Twitter is to serve the public conversation. It's an open platform where people can talk about and express themselves. It democratizes voice. It gives voice to everyone, and it equalizes everyone. And it's also a place which has turned into a place where people stay informed about what's happening in real time. And it's also a place where people connect and help one another. And it is this aspect of helping one another that has come to the fore in the last few weeks, I would say. Particularly, as multiple people are trying to seek help, Twitter has turned into a bit of a default helpline where you tweet about what you need, and then good Samaritans and good people and good actors see that and start responding. And we have seen that hospitals tweeting about need for oxygen, and they're tagging the CMs of the state, or they tag the health minister, and the supply comes in. And similarly, we have noticed that a lot of people do an SOS cry about need for oxygen or hospital bed, and people see them and respond to it. A lot of new handles have come up in the last 2 weeks of various NGOs and various organizations. So we are working overtime to make sure that they have the right kind of platform visibility, and they are connected well. The other aspect of the platform also is that it's an open platform with an open API. So any developer, any engineer can build any application on top of it. They can do advanced search. They can do search by city. They can do search by specific location. They can do search by a specific keyword and start matching people as well. So we want to harness and leverage the power of the ecosystem to help one another. And I think our view is that as we enable interactions and conversations and sort of connect people, the world becomes a better place because it has more resources, it can share learnings, and it can solve problems. And that's what our endeavor has been. So the last few weeks have been very humbling for us because, there has been a sort of a people's movement on the platform. So we can't take credit for it because we didn't do it. People themselves are coming on and they're helping one another. And we are just so much in awe to see how well, this entire ecosystem is coming together to help one another. And that really makes our heart swell with pride that we are able to do that and we are able to enable that, right? So that's where things are as far as Twitter is concerned. Now, I want to switch the topic and talk about my own personal journey. And I know that more than 300 people have dialed in, so that's a really large group. So if this was in a physical setting, I would probably get nervous, but it's a virtual setting. So I think I can look at this blank screen and just 4 or 5 faces here, and I can feel like it's a cozy and intimate setting. So let me be more open here, right? So I belong to a ordinary middle-class household in Jaipur. I think my father still lives in Mahavir Nagar in Tonk Road. And I went to Maheshwari Public School, which used to be in Tilak Nagar in those days, right? I think it has moved to a different location now. Mr. Ashok Gupta used to be the principal in those days. So clearly, one thing I noticed very early is that education is a great way to unlock your potential and also move to the next trajectory. I mean, and educating myself was the only tool I had in those days. And that's the only thing I could do. So I realized that education is not just about books and classes. It's also about keeping an open mind and being very open to new possibilities and looking at world in a way that is unique from your point of view, and also creating an impact with that uniqueness, right? So from after doing my 12th from Jaipur, I went to Delhi and did my undergrad. And there, of course, was a new experience for me, my being in a capital city of India. There also, I contested college elections. I became the editor of the school magazine. And I made many mistakes as leader, right? So, of course, everyone makes mistakes, and I made my fair share of mistakes. And I think through the mistakes that you make while carrying a responsibility, that's when you sort of grow as a leader. That's when you learn about things. And if you think about it, it's the ability to hold oneself accountable and then having an open mind and acknowledging a problem is when you grow in your stature. And when you start making a sincere effort to correct those mistakes and improve, that's when new doors open up and you move to the next level. So after my college in Delhi, I worked for Procter & Gamble for a few years, and they moved me to their Asia Pacific headquarters. I was in Asia Pac for a couple of years. And then I applied for my MBA program, like many people, and I was accepted at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. So again, Ivy League program. For the first time, someone in my family ever had stepped outside, got the passport, traveled to the US. So this was an eye-opening experience for me. And also, it was also an experience where I got to interact with a very diverse community of students. I mean, there were like people from more than 100 countries. And it was very overwhelming for me initially just to adjust to the lifestyle there. But then over time, I think I realized how much you can learn and grow in a setup like that. So after Wharton, I worked for McKinsey & Company, which is a leading management consulting firm in New York for a couple of years. And that's when I got exposed to technology, particularly consumer technology. And I started realizing the power of technology and how it can impact people and societies at large, and how the world is getting disrupted, right? And that's when I moved to the Bay Area. I worked for a company called Intuit, that was into personal finance and small business software. And that's when I started realizing that how through technology, content can be created, information can be disseminated at zero cost and almost instantly. I mean, there's no incremental cost of doing it once you put the building blocks in place. And that was an eye-opening experience for me. And internet was everywhere in the Bay Area in those days, and everyone's talking about that. And this was like 2004, 5, 6 kind of years, right? So I, along with a friend of mine and a mentor, we started wondering, like, the way information is so easily available in the US and in the Bay Area, and everyone has access to technology, what could we do for our own country, India, in a way that we can change people's livelihood? And that led to the creation of a technology called TextWeb, which was a text-based mobile application platform. So essentially, the idea then was that in India, most people are getting a mobile phone. But if you look at 2008-9, that mobile phone was primarily a Nokia candy phone, like the very simple Nokia phone, 6620 or 6630 was the model number in those days. And those Nokia phones could do only two things. They could make a voice call and they could do SMS, right? And they had no smartphone abilities and they had no internet. But because they had voice call and SMS, they were connecting everyone. And people were sending SMS, and SMS was a big craze in those days, right? So we said that, okay, why don't we build a SMS or a text-based platform on which any developer could build a simple app. And the app could be about a cricket score. I mean, you ping a short code like cricket and it gives you a cricket score. You can ping a short code around, say, jokes, it will give you a joke, and so on and so forth. And then on the other side, there'll be millions of people who want information, and not just in English, it can be in their own native language, whether it is Hindi or Tamil or Telugu or Marathi. And why can't we enable a Unicode system so that any content creator can create content and deploy on it, and we can have a common keyword to resolve it, and then anyone can then sort of consume that content. And that led to this TextWeb, which then became one of the largest text-based app platform. We signed up with all the major carriers in the country. In those days, Airtel used to be the biggest one, and then Vodafone, etc., and Spice, and etc. And it became quite popular. And it also empowered people in a very unique way, because now people could tell their own story. So a local person in a small town could talk about the harvest prices in that local community or local mandi. A student could put the timetable of a local college. A local administrator could put a bus route so that other people can get access to what bus are plying. Fishermen started using it to discuss prices of their latest catch. So quite a few interesting innovations happened, right? And this is the reason I also came back to India in 2011-12. I moved back from Bay Area to Bangalore. And this was quite a heartwarming experience for me, because I saw the power of technology and how a little bit of technology, when applied to a problem in India with scale, can lead to a tremendous impact on the livelihood of people, right? And over time, what happened was SMS got phased out with data plans, and I think WhatsApp became popular, and that's when I exited. And then I became very interested in content and media. And I worked for Flipkart for a little while, but then I took on as the CEO of Network 18 Digital, which was the one of the largest conglomerate in India with brands like CNN and CNBC and First Post and Money Control. And fast forward to now, Twitter. What I'm noticing now is that the people who bought those $20 simple Nokia phones and could only do text in those days now have a smartphone that runs into $100. And they're able to not only do text, they can do pictures and they can do videos. And now they're all on Twitter. And the same need about information dissemination, enabling people through technology, making sure that people have the information they need to improve their livelihood and to connect with other people, find their tribe, create an impact. All those human needs are still there. And we are solving it at a much bigger level and at a much larger scale at Twitter. And also with very tangible impact. In fact, if you look at it, a lot of discussions are happening and a lot of people are getting connected, and we can see the tangible impact almost on a daily basis. So that's my story. And I think if I go back and reflect on my story, I think one thing I encourage everyone to do is to not shy away from taking the path less traveled, not shy away from doing things that others have not done. So because, unless you take that plunge, unless you do something different, there won't be progress. I mean, human progress depends on a few people who do things different and who think different, right? It's always easy to copy paste and sort of think incrementally, but the real movements happen when you do something different. And every time you won't be successful. I think it's a game of probability as well, that if you try 10 times, maybe 8 times or 7 times, it won't work out. It's that one time that will work out. So I think it's important to have a safety net so that it can help you when your things don't work for you. But having said that, you should always be open to possibilities and taking the path less traveled. So looking back, I feel fortunate and proud that I dared to take the path less traveled. And so my advice to you would be, no matter who you are, whether you're an entrepreneur trying to do something, or you're trying to leverage technology to impact the life of millions, or you are someone who simply want to give voice to other people, take the plunge, do it. And I'm sure when you look back, you won't regret it. In fact, you'll be very proud of the fact that you took the step that was needed at the time that you took it. I just want to pause here and see whether anyone has any question. I'm happy to take questions as well. And I think one thing I also want to mention is that Mr. Arpit made about Rajasthan, that we don't get our fair share. And my view there is, I think people from Rajasthan are quite good in business. And I think if you look at major business houses, they're quite run by people who have heritage in Rajasthan. And one thing I always encourage people to do is that while we have a lot of money and a lot of trading understanding, we should also encourage our kids and our generation to think original, and also to take a bit of a help on technology side as well, to sort of try something new. And I'm seeing a lot of that happening now. I think in my mind, when I was there in Jaipur, I think it was very tried and tested method that you'll go into your father's business. And I think that was a bit of a comfort zone for everyone as well. But increasingly, I'm noticing that the younger generation is coming up with new and novel ideas. In fact, at Flipkart, I had a chance to work with quite a few Indian entrepreneurs. So I'm noticing that the younger generation that is coming up and that is going to engineering colleges, they have a bit of a irreverential background, like a outlook towards existing things. So they are able to challenge things. And I think it is the challenging of the status quo that leads to progress, and that enables us to look at new things. And I think I'm already noticing it. So I'm very hopeful that Rajasthan, with its great potential and great human resource talent, will certainly rise up in the ranks as we think about it, as we look at the next few years. Plus, I think COVID has been a great leveler. It has made location irrelevant, right? I mean, what I used to notice, what people from Jaipur used to go to Delhi, or they used to go to Mumbai, seeking professional growth. But I don't think in the new world, in the virtual world, location is as important as sort of your own ability and hunger to find the right people. You can connect with anyone today with internet. I mean, you can ping anyone anywhere. Just as Komal pinged me, I think it was irrelevant where I was and where she was. I think it depends on what's your story and how you pitch it, and sort of what commonality you find, and how much effort do you put in, and how much you pursue it. I think success comes with that. And I think location has become less and less important. So I think I agree with Mr. Arpit when he made that comment, that it's a very good comment. So with that, I'll bring my monologue to a close, and I'll love to hear from anyone else. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. This is really a thrilling story, and I'm sure all of us have our takeaways from this monologue. But my personal takeaway would be that take the road less travel, and that implies to every kind of business or entrepreneurship journey. So thank you so much, sir. And again, as I said earlier, that these stories, these success stories, sir, you being at the helm, gives us all the more competition that how much potential Rajasthan and Jaipur specifically carries. So thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
now I think, thank you, sir. Now I think the time has arrived that we announce the 4 startups that have been shortlisted to receive a grant of rupees 7 lakh under the Tide 2.0 scheme. So I would request Jeet sir and Manish sir to take the center stage and start with the announcement of the name of the startups. Sir, we have invited all the shortlisted 30 startups, all G1 and G2 centers here to be a part of this ceremony. And now I request you to take the center stage. I hope the technical team is ready. And Jeet sir, I would request you to announce the name of the first startup and name of the founder that will receive the grant.
All right, thank you, Dimant. And it was great to hear Manish. And I think inspiration is definitely, hearing the stories of people who come from the regular walks of life and actually climb through their hard work, and can be a source for motivation and path-breaking journey for the others to come. And I want these startups that are selected to remember that this is a journey and it's a start, it's not the end. And the ones that are selected, one is Nimisha Verma and Naveen Suman from Aloe Cell, and Himesh from Huaret Visual. So congratulations, guys, on both the teams, and good luck. And know that the team here at JECRC is there to support you, and so is the Government of India, Ministry of Electronics and IT through our grant. So we wish you luck, and we hope to see something strong, viable, tangible product coming out of your work, and something that can be scaled up. And we'll be here to back and support you in whatever way we can to enable your journey to be smoother than what we have experienced in our previous generations. So good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Congratulations, Nimisha, Naveen, and Himesh. They are the startups of Aloe Cell and Porto Visual. These 2 startups have received the grant of rupees 7 lakh. And now I would request Manish sir to announce the name of the remaining 2 startups.
Yeah, thanks. So I think the other 2 startups are Botnomics by Suresh Yadav and Sampath Gupta. So congratulations and good luck with everything. And the second one is Dextereo by Arpit Khattar and Priyanshu Meher. So once again, congratulations, and wish you all the best, and looking forward to you changing the dynamics of the industry with your startups and creating an impact.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Suresh and Sampath from Botnomics, and Arpit and Priyanshu from Dextereo for receiving the grant. And as sir said, JECRC Incubation Center and all of us are always here for any kind of support that you need. Thank you so much, sir, for handing over and announcing the name of the startups. Now I hand over the ceremony to Komal ma'am to take it forward.
Thank you so much, Dhiman sir. And honestly, I don't have any words to express my gratitude to Jeet Vijay sir and Manish sir and our director sir to give me this opportunity. The only one thing is I can assure that you are giving us your precious time, and we promise that we'll walk on this path and will help and support the budding entrepreneurs in near future. So now it is the time to hear some experiences from the winning startups, because they are the one, I would say, we have literally drilled them in last 60 days. So let's hear from them what was their experience. And yeah, first of all, Nimisha, very, very congratulations. We all are eagerly want to know your journey and your experience so far. So over to you.
Thank you, Komal ma'am. Thank you, everyone, and especially the JECRC team for selecting us for the Tide 2.0 grant. This grant will actually help us complete a prototype and commercialize this product. So talking about the product, we at Aloe Esil have created aloe vera batteries, which are 1.5 times better than the existing zinc carbon batteries and also 10% economical in cost. Talking about my journey with this program and JECRC, to be very true, it has been actually a cakewalk. Also, kudos to the team members who worked hard day and night in making this a huge success. The best part of this program was that everything was covered in a lack of time without making us wait eagerly for, without making us wait for days for the result. The valedictory is being conducted today within a month of our first presentation, actually. Hope the same promptness in the further journey. Also, the grant amount that will be helping us to complete our product on few technical aspects, making it market ready so that everyone can use those batteries. Lastly, each of us is fighting with the COVID crisis in their own way. So, just wishing powers to everyone so that everyone comes out smiling after beating this pandemic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nimisha. And now I would request Mr. Himesh to share his experience. He is the founder of Purity Visual.
So thank you so much again, Komal ma'am and the entire JCRC team for spending so much of time and organizing such a great event. And as Nimisha also mentioned, really this was like a cakewalk. And I remember the time when we started filling in the application, and I would like to say, Komal ma'am, it was not like you people grilling us, but it was we people improving each and every day. By the time we were making pitch decks as per your references, and by the time we were making pitches to the respected jury members and the mentors, and whenever it was like we were doing a pitch, we learned something or the new, we learned something or how we can make our product better, we learned how to make the marketing aspects better. So it was really a great journey. And basically, so I just forgot, so we are basically a design technology company, and we wish to make the unorganized sector of event technology to a organized way. And as sir was also talking, Manish sir was also talking about how it has become, the COVID has made the things, made everything digitalized and made so much easy for all of us to communicate. So we are working on the same domain to basically digitalize the events, to basically make the use of technology into the events and become one of the leading event technology platforms. So that is what we're trying to become. And this grant, which we will be receiving from the Tide and the ECRC team, will really help us make our product more mature, more robust, and it will also help us to expand into the international markets and to the other parts of the country. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Himesh. Thank you so much. Well said. And good luck for your future. Now I would request Suresh Yadav and his team to come forward and share his experience.
Hi, this is Sampath here. Suresh is actually on the other side. Yeah, I would take over this actually. Thanks for that. And I'm very, very glad that I've received a great opportunity and award from all of you guys. And the process which you actually decided and designed, it was very, very great, and it was very precise, and that's really great. And that's off to the entire team of JCRC. That's a great part of it. Coming to our product, our product is very unique, and which is very, very essential for COVID times. Any problems can be fixed in seconds. So we would look for great opportunities to come from the jury members and other members who participated, and give us more opportunities. And apart from that, the spend, what we would do is we will try to enhance the technical capabilities and try to bring in more inclined to the cutting edge technologies we have now. And once again, a great thanks to, and heartfelt thanks to everyone who actually designed this process very, very well, and great, and hats off to the team.
Thank you, Sampath. Thank you so much. Now, Mr. Arpit Khattar and Priyanshu, the stage is yours. So you are the last but not the least. Please share your experience with us.
Hi to everyone. So first of all, I am really thankful for being part of such event, and even more happy to secure such a this grant of such a generous amount with the help of my co-founder. So thanks to everyone. And moving forward to Priyanshu, like What would you like to say, Priyanshu?
I think due to some technical glitch, he is not able to connect, but we will give him chance later on this session for sure. There is one thing I would like to announce that other than this grant of rupees 7 lakh, JIC has also decided to help and support them with the incubation services. And I would also like to tell you that there were investors and people who wanted to get connected with these startups. So once again, congratulations to all of you. And now I would like to hand over this to Dhiman sir, and please proceed further with the next segment, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. And congratulations to all the winning startups once again. I think now it is turn to hear from the jury members. The incubation team put in robust efforts to curate a jury panel of 41 members, about 25 of them in the online jury round, and 6 to 7 of them consisted in the offline jury panel. So I would request Anuradha Agarwal ma'am to come up on stage and share her experience. She has been an old friend of JECRC, obviously, and she has conducted multiple webinars also. And she was a part of the She Talks event, that is a series of event that Incubation Center conducts for specifically targeted to women entrepreneurs and women-led startups. So please do share your experience, and otherwise I would have called her Devi, but since this is a formal setting, I would call you ma'am. So how are you, and please share your experience.
Thank you so much, Dhiman. Thanks for introducing me. As Dhiman mentioned, JECRC is almost like family to me, and it is a great honor to be associated with the entire event as a jury member. Like Manish mentioned, I have also born and brought up in Jaipur, studied in the girls' counterpart, Manish, of the MPS school that you mentioned. So I was a part of the MGPS school in Chora Rasta, if you remember. And totally identify with whatever you mentioned. Also happened to ping you just like Komal when you were a part of Network 18 on LinkedIn, and was amazed to see your prompt response on my message. So totally relate to that incident as well. And like you mentioned, it doesn't matter where you belong from. Coming from Jaipur also, I was able to start my own venture, Multibhashi, which is into multiple languages. And the entire credit goes to the fact that I was never fearful of what people will think about me. Coming from a background where everybody believed that, your husband is well settled, you have kids, why do you need to start anything of your own? Why don't you become a good, happy housewife? So having gone through that entire cycle and been on the other side of the table when I was invited to be a jury member, I was able to relate to each entrepreneur that I was listening to. And the way they all organized the event was immaculate. I mean, right from the timing, the way they helped us with the evaluation sheets. I think JECRC did a fantastic job evaluating so many startups. And I would also like to share that before Multibhashi, I started a boutique investment bank with my husband, where my primary job was to evaluate different startups. So I know the pain of, inviting so many entries, inviting so many high quality startups for an event like this, and then lining up them for evaluation at different rounds. So the 4 startups that have emerged out of this round as winners, first of all, big congratulations to you guys. And whoever participated when I was a jury member, I used to tell them the same thing, that don't consider this as just a battle for that grant. What you will take away from this event and from this entire pitching experience is much more than the grant. It is the experience of presenting your ideas in front of an experienced panel, getting their feedback, and improving your products further. And I'm sure, like Komal mentioned, besides the grant, there is an amazing support from the JIC Incubation Center. So make maximum use of it. I, as a jury member, thoroughly enjoyed the experience and would like to congratulate JECRC for achieving a big feat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your experience. And again, we all have seen the journey of Multibhashi from how it started and to where it is currently, grown leaps and bounds. So we all feel very proud and happy to have you here. Thank you. Now I would request Mukesh Jain sir to share his experience.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I also am from Rajasthan as well, from Pali, not from Jaipur. But yes, in fact, if I look at it like historically, right, 30 years back when I told my father that I want to do engineering, everybody was shocked in the house. Why do you want to leave the family business and why do you want to get into corporate and what are you going to do? And it became a lot more funny after I finished my engineering. And then my father, my younger brother saying, Mukesh, when you getting married and all. And it was funny because people, oh, look, वो क्या करता है? अरे service करता है, business नहीं करता है. That was my starting point. But I always kept saying that no, I want to work for a couple of years and then I have my own startup. So yes, it was challenging to get everything in the beginning, but yes, initial days because come from typical Marwari family and all. But over a period of time, when I moved to US and did my own startup, I worked for Microsoft, and even today, right? I'm trying to do a balance. Like, what should I do? Should I just go do my own startup, or held a CTO position in a reputed company and then coach startup? So I chose last 10 years since I came back to India. In fact, tomorrow I'll be completing my 10 years in India. So I decided like in the last 10 years in India, what can I do? I started teaching and coaching IIT, IIMs, multiple places. Never had a chance to come to JS, your college. I've done a couple of interactions in the past, but never had a chance. But yes, now I'm an advisor to 9 universities. Coached so far 34 startups from various stages and all. And even today I'm coaching some of those. I think I'm getting the fulfillment of, because if everybody becomes to startup, right? Who will actually coach them? So I think I'm taking that route of teaching and coaching part. It was really good event, I would say, well organized, and the depth of each of the startup who was sharing their experience, how they've done it. I think the important element comes in, think big, of course, was there, but also an important element which is called "पूछने में क्या जाता है." There is no harm in asking. I think that is what I think each of us need to do it, because during our childhood, of various reasons, that fear factor, लोग क्या कहेंगे अगर fail हो गया तो, I think that fear factor is still there in India. A lot of the childhood and people are very much conscious. And then, of course, on top of it, we use the word fail fast. Like, why are you using the word fail, right? Succeed fast. That should be the one. I think if we have those kind of important elements in the childhood, we'll be able to get those mindset change. And happy to see that so many startups have came up with the idea, pitched it, and then at this platform, happy to be associated with that. All the best to all the startups. Looking forward for more such interaction with the college. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for being so up close and personal with us. Thank you so much for your time. Over to you, Komal ma'am. Let's to take the ceremony ahead.
We have one more jury member who wants to interact with the startups and everybody. I would request Mr. Pradeep Gaikwad to please unmute yourself and interact with us.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure to share my experience as a jury member throughout the process of selection committee type 2.0 JECRC. It was an experience for, and first of all, I do very much thanks to the Komal madam, its team, because it was very clear, transparent process of the selection from very initial stage of you received more than 400 applications. From 400 to come to the 4, it's a very critical process, but you have planned and executed a very clear and transparent process for the selection. So for that, I first of all congratulate all you and all your team for that particular process. I also congratulate to all the participants, those who have received this grant, and I hope they will receive their successes in next upcoming months. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you so much, Pradeep sir, and from this platform, I express my again heartfelt thanks to all the jury members. Because of you, we are able to see this day today. So thank you once again for being with us. Now I'm coming to you, Tarun. But before that, I would like to introduce you that Tarun Saraswat has joined us as Innovation Manager for JECRC College of Engineering, and he has brought a lot of energy to JECRC Incubation Center. And yes, Tarun, I must ask you that it was the first assignment, right?
Absolutely, ma'am. So I have a story planned around it. Okay,
so share your experience.
All right. So guys, firstly, if I'll start saying thank you. So I believe the time of the meeting will be ended, okay? So because I'm a very flowing person. When I write, when I type, I'm a very flowing guy, okay? So I would just say thanks to Komal ma'am for giving me this platform to share my experience of working on Tide 2.0 program and at JIC. So let me quickly give you my experiences in 5-minute short span, okay? That is what the time we allotted to startups. So as ma'am rightly said, so I recently joined JECRC family. And to be precise, it was 15th of February. So which makes me the newest member of the room today. On the very first day of me joining the leadership, on the very first day of my joining, the leadership team of JIC, which includes Arpit sir, Dhiman sir, Dilnawaz sir, and Komal ma'am, called me for a joint meeting and communicated the vision they have for JIC and what were my roles and responsibilities. And even asked me to set your goals and milestones for self, so that they are in line with the goals and objectives of JIC. So now, guys, now important thing here is the learning here for startup is communicate clearly on the vision with your team members, engage thoroughly with them while setting their goals, define their clear roles and responsibilities, and provide them with the resources to work on the job. All right. Now the second experience. So as Arpit has said, JECRC is a 20-year young proving academic institute. And in a way, we truly function as an academic institute. But when it comes to JIC, I was told that we here work as a startup and follow startup culture in policies and processes, simplifying flat hierarchy, open and seamless communication amongst all team members, decentralization in decision making, brainstorming, and collective decision making are some of the core values and principles here that we abide by at JIC. Now, another important learning for startup here is stay close to the team, be approachable, allow decentralization, engage and motivate your team members, and will make each and every resource truly accountable and responsible towards their job. And all of this would cumulatively help in creating high performance work environment in the organization. Now, last experience. Now, ma'am has already given the wonderful numbers, but let me give you again a quick snapshot of those. So Tide 2.0 grant program where we scouted a 450 plus application. I know, Arpit sir, I'm really sorry. You said 1,000, but we fell short of 550 application. But sir, nothing to worry. Next time we'll give you the 1,000 number. So for a 450 application, we conducted 250 demo pitches in 4 days. Look for jury members like you, 41 jury members. Thanks to Komal ma'am, the complete credit goes to you for your extensive research and persuasion as added by Mr. Manish sir. So finally, today we have come with 4 startups, okay, who are present amongst us. And honestly, guys, this was really a high voltage and high pressure task. So in this journey, this does not mean that as a team, we did not have any kind of conflicts or disagreement, or in some cases, altercation as well. But the very important team, okay, very important point here was we all came together, resolved our conflicts amicably, creating a win-win proposition for each and every team members and achieved our goals. The results are already displayed by Komal ma'am and also with a smile on the face of startup winner. So the learning here is conflict are not always bad. Sometimes they help to build better team synergies and also harbingers to new direction, which was not in the sight in the very first place. So now, just to summarize, the bottom line is communication, high performance work practices, motivation and engagement of the team members, and conflict resolution while being empathetic are some of the points which all you startup winners right now should make a note of, okay? This will help in creating high performing work practices and teams in the organization. They were leading to accomplishment of your goals. Just one more thing which I read somewhere. Motivation drives people. People drive performance, and it is performance which drives organization. So this would be all from my side, and thank you to all the leadership team for giving me the support. Thank you, sir. So ma'am, this is all my enthusiasm which just poured out.
Thank you so much, Tarun sir, and I'm looking forward to do more good things for this startups at JIC with your help. And now I would like to invite one of the student members from JU Cell. They were the backbone of this entire program, working day-to-day basis, being in that environment where everybody was ill and we were fighting with the COVID. Few of the students were coming to college. They were just away, one call away, and they are coming with a lot of suggestions and feedback. And there was like, we are doing a shadi, and now I can say we could do anything just because of with their help. So I would request any of the students from ECell, if you can share your experience working for this Tide 2.0 grant program.
Right. Okay. So thank you so much, ma'am, for actually labeling us as the backbone when I think that would all be possible because of the mentorship that we received from you. So a very good evening to everybody. My name is Samiksha Jain Bajaj, and I am the Joint Secretary here at Entrepreneurship Cell JU. So I can go on and on about my experience with Tide 2.0, but just to sum it up in brief, and I think I speak this on behalf of the entire team of Entrepreneurship Cell, that this edition of Tide has provided us a plethora of opportunities to learn, to grow, to have fun, and as ma'am said, it actually provided us an opportunity to meet our teammates in person after such a long time. So we were all there with the laptops and coordinating everything and anything. So we were able to go there and actually share what we wanted to. We were there when the Am I audible? Because my screen seems to be frozen.
No, Samiksha, we cannot hear you clearly. I mean, at least I can't hear you.
Okay, so am I audible enough now?
Yes, yes.
Right. So yeah, as I said, it was an amazing opportunity that we actually got to meet all of our teammates in person with our laptops and coordinating everything and anything. So it was an amazing experience, and we were there when the first edition of Tide took place last year, and it was an amazing experience to actually apply those learning into this edition, to learn new things and to actually actually have this opportunity to network with such amazing people who are actually what can I say, who have carved a niche for themselves in the market. So it was an amazing experience as well, and obviously listening to amazing startups sharing their market disrupting ideas was an altogether wonderful experience. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, and we look forward to such opportunities in the future as well, and to have this kind of mentorship and the confidence in ourselves by the entire JIC team that comprises of Komal ma'am, Tarun sir, Sachin sir. So yeah, thank you, and we do look forward to the same things in the future. So thank you, Arpit sir and Dhiman sir as well for this opportunity.
Thank you, Samiksha. Thank you so much. Let me tell you, this is you. I mean, people like you conduct such events, and thanks to you. And please convey my thanks to all the ESL members for this program. Now, as we have come to an end, but I have the most important thing, which I have kept for the end. Now I would like to invite my mentor, my friend, my colleague, Mr. Dilnawaz Khan, who is the advisor of JCRC Incubation Center. Sir, I would request you to conclude the program and also share your experience of conducting this Tide 2.0 grant program. Over to you, sir.
So thank you so much, Komal, and good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I typically don't make notes, but this is the first time, or maybe at least third or the fourth time I have made a formal thank you note, because I was told that I'm going to present the vote of thanks. So do give me a chance to make this count, because I have put in a couple of hours in making one. But in terms of experience, I think everything has already been spoken and said. So I think I don't want to reiterate onto the fantastic work the team has done, the kind of the vision that was created initially, and then what we were able to achieve. So I think I don't want to keep on reiterating the fact, but I think all we can as a community, as a bunch of entrepreneurs and students and aspiring entrepreneurs, we can promise that I think the future is going to be bright. We have to be hopeful, and tomorrow will be a better day. So if all of us are going to work hard, for sure, I think things will be better tomorrow. So I think that is all I can say when it comes to concluding everything. As I said, I want to reiterate. So if you allow, and if with the permission of Arpit sir, can I propose the formal vote of thanks? I'm doing it. I rarely do it, so that's why I'm looking forward to it. Okay, all right. So let me quickly propose the formal vote of thanks. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today at Tide 2.0 Grant Program Valedictory Ceremony on this lovely evening. I'm Dilnawaz Khan, Incubation Advisor at JECRC, and it's my pleasure to propose the vote of thanks. First of all, let me begin by thanking each one of you for sparing time from a busy schedule and being the part of this program. My hearty thanks and gratitude to our guest today, Mr. Manish Maheshwari, Managing Director, Twitter India, and Mr. Jeet Vijayvargiya, CEO, Meaty Startup Hub, Government of India. Gentlemen, thank you so much for gracing the program with your presence and sharing the words of wisdom with students and startup founders present at this forum today. I would also like to thank the entire leadership team and management team, deans, directors, HODs, teachers of JCRC Foundation, and of course, students for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, an event of this scale cannot have happened without a right team in place. So let me acknowledge the leadership of Mr. Dhimant Agrawal and the hard work put by the team, which is the JIC team, Tarun, Komal, Sachin, other members of the JIC team, ESL members, volunteers, and other students who relentlessly worked in day out to make this program a success. Furthermore, let me acknowledge the efforts of digital marketing team, JCRC University, for making sure that our online presence and communication is crisp with the target audience, and the beneficiary of this program gets the right information at the right time. In this entire effort to reach the right startups, a lot of partners also play a very, very pivotal role. I'm thankful to our partners like CII, Indian Angel Network, TAI Rajasthan, Digital Impact Square, CAV Startup Labs, AIC Pinnacle, Kerala Startup Mission, IPFC, and iStart, and also our online media platforms like Startuppedia, Startup FYI, and Jaipur Buzz for their contribution. Three key pillars of such a program that cannot go unacknowledged are those 40 plus jury members who sat through long hours, heard the pitches diligently and patiently, and evaluated each startup so that we can find the best of the best. Those 400 plus startups that showed their trust in us and applied for the program. And most importantly, Meaty Startup Hub and TIE 2.0 scheme for conceptualizing this initiative with the vision to support Indian startup ecosystem and supporting the startups and taking them to the next level. I know what's been missing till now. Thanking that one special person without whom all this would not have been possible and we would not have got a chance to gather here. I know that you don't like to take credit, so you can take this in protocol, but this is something I'm speaking from my heart. And trust me, every time when I say this, I mean it. So please accept my sincere and my team's very, very sincere gratitude and thank you from our side, Arpit sir. Your words of encouragement, guidance, advice, and most importantly, the trust that you've shown the team is something we really appreciate, and we cannot express enough gratitude about the same. So by far, you know that I can go on and on and on, but let me quickly sum my formal word of thanks for everybody. I'm grateful for each one of you for being here and bestowing your trust upon us. And I promise you that the next edition of TIE 2.0 will be bigger, better, larger. And I can promise you that with this formal end to my thank you note, once again, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Thank you so much for being here. And I wish all of you a great evening, ladies and gentlemen. Stay at home, stay safe, and stay blessed. And with that, I end my formal thank you note. So thank you everyone for being here. And over to you, Komal.
Thank you, Dilnawaz sir. Thank you so much for that thank you note. Thank you all for joining. Thank you so much, Manish sir and Jeet sir, for your spending your time and being with us. Thank you everybody for joining. Hope to stay connected with you all in the future. Stay safe and do take very good care of yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhiman. Thank you, everyone. And I think many people reached out to me, so you can always follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @ManishM. So that's the best way to reach me as well. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.